There are times when you open the Bible. You read every word carefully, you even whisper the verses under your breath, but nothing seems to touch your heart. You close it, and quietly wonder. Why does God feel silent, when I'm trying so hard to listen? You pray for guidance, you ask for clarity, you hope for comfort, but all you hear is your own thoughts echoing back, and in that silence, something subtle begins to grow, not loud doubt, but a quiet question. Am I doing something wrong? Does God speak to others, but not to me? Many people carry this hidden struggle. You believe in God, you trust His Word, but when you read Scripture, it sometimes feels distant, more like history than a living voice. You know the Bible is powerful, but deep down, you want it to feel personal. Here is the truth, simple, but important. God is not silent that He never stopped speaking. The issue is not His voice. It's how we listen. Most of us come to Scripture looking for information. While God is inviting us into connection, that we rush through chapters just to feel productive. While God is willing to meet us in a single verse that we read to finish. Instead of reading to hear, hearing God is not about emotional highs or dramatic moments. That it's about alignment. That it's about posture. That it's about approaching Scripture not like a task, but like sacred ground, because when God speaks through His Word, He doesn't just inform your mind. He transforms your heart. That if you've ever felt distant while reading the Bible, if you've ever wondered why others seem to hear God more clearly, stay with me, because what you're about to understand can completely change how you read Scripture and how you recognize God's voice. Before God speaks loudly, He speaks relationally, and this is where many miss Him. We ask, what does this mean? While God is asking, are you ready to listen? The Bible is not a switch you turn on to hear God. It's a place where you learn to recognize Him. From the beginning, Scripture was never meant to be rushed. It was meant to be received. Every page carries His heart, His character, His intention toward you. But His voice isn't discovered in hurry. It's discovered in stillness. Think about someone you truly love. You don't just hear their words. You understand their tone, their pauses, their intentions. I am the same way. Hearing God requires more than reading. It requires reverence, stillness, surrender. Many people come to the Bible already full of opinions, expectations, assumptions. But God speaks most clearly to those who come empty enough to say, Lord, I'm not here to confirm my ideas. I'm here to be changed by your truth. That is the difference. Some read the same verse again and again, and feel nothing. Others read it once, and it changes them. The difference is not intelligence. It's the heart posture. And here's something you need to hear. Silence does not mean God has left you. Sometimes silence is an invitation. An invitation to slow down. To quiet the noise. To finally hear what God has been saying all along. Let me tell you a short story. There was a man, just an ordinary believer. He loved God deeply and read the Bible every single day, chapter after chapter, year after year. But inside, he felt empty. He knew the verses. He understood the teachings. But when others talked about hearing God, he felt left out. One morning, frustrated, he prayed, Lord, I read your word daily, why don't I hear you? No answer, just silence. Later that day, he walked past a small chapel. The door was slightly open, so he stepped inside. An elderly man was sitting quietly in the front row. His Bible was open, but he wasn't reading. He was just still. After a while, the man asked him, How do you hear God when you read? The old man gently replied, When you read, what are you listening for? The man said, Answers, direction, clarity. The old man smiled and said, That's why you're missing Him. Then he explained, I used to read the same way, trying to get somewhere, until one day, I stopped, and simply sat with God. And I realized, God wasn't silent, that I was just too rushed to notice. The next morning, everything changed. Instead of rushing, the man prayed, "Lord, I'm here to listen." He read just a few lines, and stopped at it first. It felt uncomfortable, but then, something shifted. One verse stayed with him. It felt heavier, more personal, and suddenly, he understood. God wasn't giving new information, that he was calling for obedience. That moment changed everything. That he started reading less, but hearing more, and this is the truth. We want God to speak over our noise, our busyness, our distractions, but God speaks most clearly to those who are willing to slow down, because hearing God is not about chasing revelation. It's about learning to pay attention. The Bible even shows us this pattern. God doesn't reveal everything at once. That he gives light, one step at a time, like a lamp in the dark, but many people miss his voice because they demand the full picture instead of trusting the next step. Another reason we struggle, sometimes, we resist what God is already saying, not because we're bad, but because we're tired, hurt, or afraid. But here's the key. Obedience sharpens your ability to hear. When you respond to what God has already shown you, his voice becomes clearer. So shift your approach. Before reading, ask, "Lord, what do you want to show me about yourself, and what do you want to change in me?" Then don't rush. If something touches your heart, stay there. That's where God is speaking, and hear this clearly. God has not ignored you. He has not forgotten you. He has not been silent to punish you. What you're experiencing is an invitation. An invitation to deeper connection. You are learning to hear him, not in noise, but in stillness, and soon the same scriptures that once felt distant will begin to feel alive again. Verses will stay with you, truth will follow you throughout your day, and his voice, quiet, steady, personal, will become familiar. So don't give up, stay consistent, stay still, stay open, because God is speaking. And now, you're learning how to listen.